You're watching ESPN Cricinfo Match Day. Now, just an hour before their game started, Rajasthan came up with the announcement of announcing Steve Smith as their captain, replacing Ajinkya Rahane. Many questions were raised whether that was the correct decision. About 3.5 hours later, that question is in a way being answered. That after Rajasthan registered their third win of the season out of the 9 games that they've played. Batting first, Mumbai 161 for 5. Quinton de Kock, the highest scorer with 65. But it was really Steve Smith's not out 59 runs that took Rajasthan home. They reached there in 19.1 overs. Chahar, the only wicket taker there with 3 for 29. 1 wicket later went to Bumrah, and the other one to fall then for Rajasthan was via a run out. With me, Deep Dasgupta, Sean Tate, plenty to talk about, gentlemen. We also have another game starting very, very shortly, but we'll start with this particular game. The total to begin with, 161 for 5. Was about below 10, par. 20.
Below par score at least, like you mentioned, 10-15 runs at least. But credit to Rajasthan batsmen, the way they chased it down. I thought they had a good start, in terms of very positive start. Someone like Ajinkya trying to play his shots, Samson came in, played his shots as well. And it just seemed like a different Steve Smith as well. I mean, the one that, Tate was talking about, going out there, expressing himself, playing freely.
Okay, 10-15 run short. Then it takes me back to that same question that we raised before the match started. Surya Kumar Yadav at number 3. Once again, run a ball. Maybe if that had changed, they could have got a total that was good enough to defend.
Yeah, you're right, actually. I mean, when you see the result, and Deep was right, 10-15 short, he said that mid-game, then you look at innings like that. That's when you can really, talk about innings and say, okay, well, maybe that did cost him in the end. Just going a bit slow. That must be his role, because that's the way he's been batting.
Yes.
To go through the innings, and I think if Rohit gets out, he seems to play that role as well. So, but at the end of the day, it's T20 cricket, and you got to win games.
The one thing that the Mumbai batsmen, after the game is done, will look back is at the scorecard, and then you'll have Stuart Binney bowling 3 overs, picking up a wicket, going away for 19 runs. Surely the Mumbai batsman should have made a better use of his 3 overs.
Yes, absolutely. No two ways about it. But also credit to Steve Smith to actually pick up those moments in the game where he could actually use someone like Stuart Binney and get 3 overs out of him. So credit to the captain for picking up the right moments. And then obviously as a batsman also, if you're thinking differently and suddenly, you need to consolidate and suddenly you see a bowler who you have to take on. You've got to take that call there and then, whether you will go as planned or you're going to change your plans. And the fact is, obviously, they didn't. Surya Kumar has been playing that way. That's his role. But if you see a change like that, you've got to be on your feet and think on your feet and change accordingly.
Did you see Rajasthan do things differently with Steve Smith in charge? One, as he mentions to you, Stuart Binney with the new ball.
Oh, it looked better. It looked more in control. There's no doubt about that. But Steve Smith, he's captain Australia for quite a long period. That's what he does. And you continue. You take the ball tampering out of it. He's been a good skipper for Australia. So, and I just think it's better. It's also better for Rahane to come out and just bat as a player. Much better for him. The way that Steve does works his bowlers through. He backs a guy like Binney, which he offers enough for Rajasthan. His field placements 95% of the time are very good. And then the way that Steve plays himself when he's captain, he takes it upon himself to get the game done. He does it for Australia, and he did it tonight.
You mentioned before this match started that we're not seeing the Steve Smith of old, the one who would really whack the ball around in the 20-over game. Today we saw that version of Steve Smith for the first time.
Well, he just reads the game well, because he then slowed up when they lost 2 wickets in 1 over, and he knew that he was a man that had to bat through then. So he judged the innings really well, I thought. His strike rate was good before the loss of those 2 wickets, and then he did enough to get the game done.
Was it the captaincy that really changed? Because we've seen different players react differently to captaincy.
Yes.
Some get bogged down, some really excel.
I think Steve Smith again is, if you look at his numbers as a captain, they're phenomenal, whether it's IPL or for Australia. But also, I think credit to Riyan Parag to have played that knock. That made easy for Steve Smith to actually take it easy and trying to hang around till the end and finish off the games, because this kid came in and scored 43 of 29. So that's the kind of innings that was required for Steve Smith to play or take his time.
What do you make of Riyan Parag? He's playing good knocks in domestic cricket, as Deep was talking, was one thing. Now playing in front of 30,000, 40,000 people against a quality attack.
But it's just what Deep's saying there. It's a great learning curve for him for future as well. That's game awareness from himself and Steve and the team. And that makes it more satisfying, because that's one thing that Rajasthan haven't done well this time. Their match awareness, where they're fitting players into the side, their use of their bowlers, It hasn't been great. It's not. Okay, it's only one game. That's it is one game, and you can shower Steve Smith with praise and all this sort of stuff, but it's one game. But at the end of the day, I think this would be a satisfying win for that camp.
I'm just going back to how Mumbai performed. Of course, Steve Smith played well. We looked at Chirag playing rather well. But now the word out on Lasith Malinga. I see Rahul Chahar, the only one who picked up wicket. Bumrah came right at the end to get you one wicket. It's that middle overs. If you're defending a low total like 160, you need wickets. And that's where you expect someone like Malinga to get you wickets. That's one thing that's not happening for Mumbai.
Yeah, I mean, that is not happening because, again, you're looking at someone like Lasith Malinga and you think of death straight away. So you're looking at Bumrah and Malinga for the death, and in the middle overs you're looking at someone like Markande, Chahar, who's already picked wicket, Markande did. Krunal to pick wickets in the middle, or someone like Ben Cutting. I mean, these are the players that you're looking for wickets in the middle overs, and especially your spinners, and that's where I think Rahul Chahar did, but unfortunately Markande and Krunal did not.
Also the surface, we saw Krunal Pandya bowl rather well, Sean, in the game before this, but maybe the surface was rather different in the one in Delhi. This one, Rahul Chahar, still the standout spinner, only because of, like Deep was talking before the game started, that he's that quicker sort of a leg spinner, and maybe that's why he was the one who was successful. The others, which require some sort of an assistant from the pitch, really couldn't get you.
Yeah, I think so. He was just getting enough purchase. I mean, that ball to Stokes, perfect example, rushed him as well. So it was a perfect example of good bowling on this wicket. It's a strange one, this pitch. Some games some games it goes through, and then the next game it sort of turns. This one didn't turn hugely, but it was. It's just a strange. It looked a good batting pitch, but then is it? So it's a bit of a chook raffle, this pitch.
All right, quick one-word answers because we have to move into the next game. I wanted to talk to you about Turner. 2 games, 2 ducks. Is it the end of the road for this IPL for him?
You can't judge.
I'm not judging him,
no,
because this is such a professional sort of a sport where even 2 chances.
I understand what you're saying.
Well, they need 9 runs to win. Was it when he came in? Or
that's right. Yeah. I mean, but first ball duck. I mean, on what basis would you say that? You know what I'm saying? And it's a very tricky situation. I understand where you're coming from. There are not too many games left and everything else.
Nikhil Nayak got 1 game.
I think we can judge him when there's 40 runs to get and he comes in. That's
pressure.
Or maybe he's played 10 deliveries and then we know what he's good at.
But the question remains, will he get another chance? Because as I said, this is a cutthroat sort of a competition in T20 cricket. We've seen other players just get 1 chance, never given a chance after that. But because Rajasthan have won, usually you see teams that win end up maintaining the same 11. Okay, and we turn our attention to the game that's coming up. That's Delhi Capital versus Kings 11 Punjab. The news is the Delhi Capitals have won the toss and decided to bowl first once again. You would have thought after what happened last time around, they would have changed their mind and done what Mumbai did. Bat first in this, get runs, and then you don't know how the pitch is going to come.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think why would they do that. I don't know whether they're not still confident or maybe they think this pitch will play better than the last time. So I'm not too sure, but obviously going by what happened in the last game, you would want to bat first. I don't know, maybe the due factor, as you mentioned.
I think that's what it is.
That's what both the captain mentioned. The due factor, yes, I mean that's an important factor.
All right, but the pitch didn't quite play well in the second innings last time around. You saw the Delhi batting really crumble. They've made a few changes as well. Okay, we'll take a look at the playing 11s now. We'll start with the Delhi Capitals, and they've made 3 changes in all. Colin Ingram comes in. Rutherford is in, and then you've got Lamichhane in. Okay, I'll talk about each of them. Ingram coming in. Munro's not doing a bad job, you'd say, Sean?
Yeah, I just think with Colin, I think possibly on this wicket, sort of again a bit, I wouldn't say more mature player, but the sort of guy that can. Munro's a great hitter, I feel, at the top of the order. Ingram sort of can get himself in a bit, work it around. He does slog, sweep, spin okay as well. So yeah, maybe a decent change. It remains to be seen. But the other ones, Rutherford, I don't know too much about him. But Lamichhane was always going to come in.
But that's the interesting part. I mean, someone like Rutherford coming in for Chris Morris. I mean, Chris Morris is bowling well in the dead.
Is it because we've seen that it's the bowling, Delhi Capitals bowling, which wins them games? The weak area was their batting, which ends up crumbling down, towards the middle order. Then after that,
true. But Chris Morris is an all-rounder. I mean, you would trust
just
him.
Just that didn't get going with the bat this
time. Nigel wants a rest.
Maybe. I think it's more to do with a niggle or something.
I thought after he was not selected for the South Africa World Cup team, he'd want to play a little more games. Just remind us.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a tricky one. I don't know why, because obviously at the toss it wasn't don't mention why.
Why? Huh.
So yeah, I mean, but ideally speaking, I would pick Chris
You're
Morris.
some selections. I mean, you do tend, if it's not explained at the toss, it's tough. You're sort of guessing because you don't know about injuries and niggles and things like that, or what a team's thinking. But sometimes selections are obvious. Lamashane, I think that's a pretty obvious one. But the Rutherford Morris one, who knows?
Yeah, that leaves them with one bowler less now. This was one strength with Delhi had. If Akshar went for a few runs, you had Morris there. Now they've dropped a Morris. They've got Lamichane in for Kimo Paul. So that's a like
True,
in the sense of a bowler.
The other thing is the strategy as far as bowling was concerned was Ishant to bowl up front.
Yes.
His 3 overs or whatever, and then in the death it would be predominantly Morris and Rabada. Now that Morris is not there, so Ishant has to bowl in the death, and he doesn't have great numbers in the death. I mean, as of now. So obviously that strategy needs to be changed now as well.
Okay, we'll take, and of course one quick word on Lamichane, as Sean mentioned. I mean, that was expected.
Yeah,
they made a mistake last time.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've rectified it. Okay, this time we'll take a look at the Kings 11 Punjab. They've made a few changes as well. I can't remember all. Neither could R Ashwin, but we'll see. We've got Harpreet Barar, Sam Curran, and Willian coming in. Interesting one at those. We'll start with Sam Curran. Sean, this was expected. I mean, he was doing a job for them, and this is one team that plays players according to the condition.
Yeah, I like Sam Curran. I think he's a good player. I mean, this IPO he showed glimpses of being pretty good, and then hasn't sort of impressed as well at the same time, I suppose. But yeah, he's a good player. He can bowl some of that change-up stuff. Turning the ball across seam stuff, and the big Hardest is back into. I like him. He's quite good.
Interestingly, they're playing with 3 spinners now. Yeah, so they've read the conditions. And Kings, as I said, they've been playing according to condition. You thought Mujib could have come in, but we don't know much about Harpreet right now.
We don't. And okay, the good part is they have 6 bowling option. For the longest time, they had only 5 bowling option, with Sam Curran being one of them. And now, if you include Sam Curran, there are 6 bowling options that they have. That makes more sense. But again, Mujib is something, I don't know. I mean, see, a lot of things, a lot of times in IPL, your practices make a huge difference because we are just moving from one game to the other. The last time I saw Mujib was maybe 10 days ago. But at training sessions, you tend to figure out if somebody's not in form, he's not bowling well, or something's wrong there. So which we are not aware of. But apart from that, I wouldn't pick Mujib, definitely.
Okay. The game is in Delhi. Delhi are hosting Kings 11 Punjab. For most teams, it's home advantage. For Delhi, it's home disadvantage because that's what the numbers show. In IPL 2019, they have the worst record at home, only ahead of Bengaluru. I mean, again, you usually have a pitch which favors the kind of strength that your team has. Sean, I'll come to you on this one. I mean, Delhi's strength and the pitch that's on offer, there is a mismatch there.
It doesn't, you're right. It doesn't always work out that way, unfortunately, though, is it? Like, sometimes, circumstances say that this is the wicket you're going to have and that's it. And there's sometimes it's hard to, in a short space of time, to change a wicket as well, or change a square. But I sort of tend to agree with what Deep's been saying about the conditions. You just got to get on with it. You just have to play the conditions as best way as possible, and try not to complain about it. Because at the end of the day, when this tournament's finished, no one's going to care what the conditions are like. They're just going to see Delhi wherever they finish, and that's it.
So would you then want... The problem with Delhi is if you have a slow and a low sort of a pitch, or a pitch that's really turning, you'd need batsmen to spend some time on the crease. But then Delhi has someone like, Prithvi Shaw right on top, then you've got a Rishabh Pant. Most of these players are stroke makers. They seldom do play that sort of a role.
And also where they play their cricket, where they've grown up playing their cricket, most of them are from the western side of the country where, you play on red soil, where the ball comes onto the bat, there is bounce, you play very well on your back foot as well. But this is a pitch which is very, very different. You've got to be a grafter to survive, very front foot oriented kind of players. So it doesn't suit most of the batsmen. But again, this gentleman here, Shikhar Dhawan, will have a huge role to play. A local guy who's played all his life at Firozshah Kotla. On top of that, a left-hander. So he's got a massive role to play here, and also change the mentality. Again, at the toss, we heard Shreyas talking about the pitch and how they have to be fearless and positive, irrespective of how the pitch is. Just take it out of the equation. Just don't talk about it. Just get it done with it. Whatever it is, as a team, strategize. Okay, it's a 150 pitch. That's how we're going to bat. And now that they're chasing, Just make sure it's 150 pitch, so don't give more than 150. It'll be difficult to chase. That's about it.
Okay, we're talking about Delhi's batting, what Shikhar Dhawan and the likes have to do if they really need to win this game. But before that, remember, Delhi are bowling right now, and one bowler would have to do the job for them. We're talking about Lamichhane, but it's this man. Sean, we're talking about knowing the condition. Shikhar knows the condition. No one knows the condition better than him. It's his home ground as well. And as we're seeing, at home, he does rather well. I mean, unlike the batsmen of Delhi, he's one guy who does rather well playing in Delhi.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, not bad timing to have him around the place as well. Experienced player, he's not going to be phased by who he's bowling to. He's going to be, he's going to have the likes of Gale and Rahul to contend with as well. But I think at this time of the tournament, the fact that he's in this side and probably will stay in on this home wicket, that's a plus for Delhi.
If you were the Delhi team, would you be tempted to bowl a leg spinner to Gill to begin with, one out of a Lamichhane or a Amit Mishra?
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, when you have three spinning options, you have to bowl one of them in the power play. And if you have to bowl them in the power play, might as well start with them in the first or the second over, give it to them. And if Gale is on strike, give it to a leg spinner, ask him to bowl predominantly googlies though. Not try and bowl leg spin.
Absolutely. Okay, Gale would be out to bat soon, but before that, let's quickly take a look at how our two analysts have performed in our little game or a sort of a fantasy league that we've got going. It was Sean Tate's Fab 4.
Absolutely
and he's got
shocking.
35 points. I wouldn't sum that up. Sean's done it
I'd be really
himself.
surprised if I don't beat you.
Horrible.
35 points. Okay.
Did you minus points for the drop catches or what?
Yeah, that was the...
Jofra. It doesn't matter anyway. Have a look at 34. That's going to be an all-time low. Anyway.
Oh, just made it.
What? Let's see. Deep's done well. 100 points, and that's a big enough lead. So after the loss in the quiz, Deep's kind of made up here in the Fab 4. It was a low-scoring encounter.
But we've got another Fab 4, right?
Yes, coming up. So that reminds me, quickly take your pick. Deep,
Okay,
you got to start this time.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to back Shikhar Dhawan. I'm going to back Shikhar to get some runs. And who's the wicket? Rishabh.
Okay, Rishabh.
Shikhar and Rishabh. For Punjab, Kale and
Pick a spinner.
Shami.
Shami.
Oh no, I'll pick Ashwin. I
Ashwin.
mean, now he's a finger spinner, both leg and off.
R. Ashwin.
Ashwin.
Okay. Sean, go for it.
Okay, I'm going to go with M. Ashwin. And I'm going to go with Mayank.
Mayank Agarwal, okay. And for Mumbai?
We got Delhi. I'm going to go with, Rabada and Lamichhane.
Seems like
Not that good.
this is a much better team that you've picked. Okay, it's going to be a close contest, as we expect could be a close contest on the field as well. Sean Tate, Deep Dasgupta, thanks so much for joining us. Live action is about to start. You were watching ESPN Cricinfo Matchday.